what I heard was this. It was like World War II-ish, a long time ago. A guy came back from the war and found his girlfriend at her house with another dude. And he rolled up on a motorcycle in the middle of the night. And he was coming back to tell her that, I'm back and everything's great. And then he caught her. And then he got really, really mad. And he ran down the steps, ran outside, jumped on his motorcycle, flew down the street, and this is like out in the middle of the nowhere. So he's flying down this road, and it's up and down, and he's so pissed off that he's just going as fast as he can. And when he gets to the end, he doesn't realize that it's a 90-degree turn, and he just flies off and dies. And that's what I heard. And then the way that you'd make it happen. No, wait, missing something. There was a barn across the street from her house. And when her parents lived there and everything, and when they would go to bed, he would wait across the street, hiding behind the barn, and he would wait until she gave him a signal, and then he'd come over. So that's why the barn's important in the story that I knew. And the way to get it to happen was that you would drive down there, and when you got to the barn, you would roll down your windows, everybody would hang out the windows, and just scream curse words as loud as they could at the barn, and just go crazy and call it the worst things you could possibly think of. And then that would piss him off. And then you'd fly down, and you go over the hills, whoop, and somewhere kind of far down, I don't know, half mile, something like that, there was a turnaround. There was a spot you could turn around. There was like a horse stable across, and that's where we would always go. And you'd come down, and turn around, flash your lights 3 times, hang out, and wait. And I'm telling you, I did it 50 times, and it worked 40.
So first off, the flashing of the 3 lights, was that supposedly what her signal was to get him?
That was her signal.
Was that the 3 lights?
Right. She would do her bedroom light 3 times, and then he would know to come out from the barn. So yeah, you'd flash the lights, and then you just hang out. And you'd wait. And sometimes it'd be real fast, and other times it'd take forever, and you might have to do it again. Sometimes we drove back up there and screamed at the barn again, and came back down and waited. But literally, I'm telling you, out of 50 times, it didn't work 10. It would always work. That's why we did it so much, because it was awesome. But so we would flash our lights, and then you see this little dingy, just yellowy, nasty little light come out. And you'd see it turn on the road, and it would come at you, and then it would disappear because it went down the hill. And then it would come back up the hill, and you'd see it. And then it would be just a little brighter, but not really, because it was just dingy. And we'd all be like, there it is, and we'd flip it out, and supposedly if it ever caught up to you, you died, or I don't know what happened. But we were always afraid, it was supposed to kill you. So it would come, and then eventually it would never get to you. But sometimes it would get closer, and that's when we'd get real, freaked out. And everyone's like, oh my God, we'd almost be turning the car on. So it's, but it would never get, never got to us. But this one time, we went, and there was this car in front of us out in the middle of nowhere. You're driving around these roads, and there was this car out there that was kind of far ahead of us. You could always see its tail lights. But everywhere it turned, we turned, and we were just going back, getting this place. It was like 40 minutes away from where we lived, so we were just driving, but that car was always out there. And then the road, I don't remember what the road is, Hamilton-Oxford Road is the one that's on.
Road.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
and I think it's 73 or something going up to it. Well, we got on 73, and that car was on 73, and then I seen it pull onto I forgot already again. All I know is a white fence, man.
Yeah,
Follow the white fence. Yeah. So, and I seen it turn, and I was like, that car's doing what we're doing. I was like, it's doing the light. So we're driving. And then by the time we turned and we were coming, and by the time we had kind of almost got to it, that car was done, and it was already coming back up. And I was like, it did what we did. Here's the crazy part. Here's the thing I never seen ever once, because I was never on this end of the barn, was it's coming back up. It's already done it. We're coming down to do it. And the barn is right here. The house is right here. Street's right here. But there's this line of trees that is just a single line of trees, and the barn's right here, and a single line of trees going back off the road. And never seen it before. There's only one time. Driving down, I'm like, they did what we did. And there is a red tail light going through the trees at the top of them. There's this one floating red light, like a brake light of a motorcycle, going through the top of the trees. And I was like, there's this brake light! Lost my shit. Oh my God, we've never seen this. So it's going through the trees, man. There's nothing that can do that. And it's just a red floating light. And then we roll up, and we all hang out the windows, and we're like, fuck you! Going crazy, yelling at it. And we passed it. and it immediately comes out, and it is on us, and it is lighting up the car. It is so close.
What does it look like behind you? When you look back, what does it look like?
It looks like a motorcycle headlight that is old school, dingy yellow, and just old. But it is so close. It is like, I don't know, 10 feet behind us. I mean, it's literally lighting up the inside of the car. And there's me and a girl, and then I'm in the back seat, girl's in the back seat, another girl, and my friend Brad is driving, and he's like the crazy driver. He's like the one that you want
Right.
in this situation. He's the guy that wants to hill hop, wants to drift, wants to go crazy.
You can also say that there is no sound, like as if there's no.
No, there's nothing going on.
Motorcycle behind you.
Yeah, there is just a light behind us that is on us. And now, you know, if it catches you, you die. And it's 10 feet behind us. So I'm like, go, Brad, go. And like, Brad's like gunning it, and the girls are screaming, and we're like flying, and we're going up and down these crazy ass hills. And it is nuts. It is totally nuts. And this thing is on us, and like, we're like flying down, and I'm like, it's gonna kill us or we're gonna die in a car wreck. But don't let it kill us. You know, like, we'll die in a car wreck. That's fine with me. Get away from this thing. So we're like flying, and then we start like, you know, getting away from it, and we're like flying up and down the hills, and then eventually we go down the hill, we come up, and it's not there anymore. And then we did not stop that time and turn around and flash our lights. We turned around and went home, and that was that, because we were scared to death. And that's the only time I've ever seen the brake lights, and that's the only time it was ever anywhere near that close to anybody. It was crazy. And everyone, you know, you'd always see it coming, and that's another car, you know, but it's not. It's just not. It never gets to you. There'd have to be some weirdo out there. I mean, I've done it on Tuesday nights. I've done it on...
stories as there are, there'd have to be somebody out
right,
there
and it always worked no matter what day it was. Like, nobody's sitting out here on a Tuesday night at 2 a.m. waiting to scare some, you know, teenagers. That's just ridiculous. So I was like, it's not, man. And there's just nothing I've ever seen that looked like that light, like that dingy yellow, really old, nasty light. And it scared us to death.
I have a question.
Yes.
Say you're heading down 73 towards Miami University. You
Yeah.
turn right fence to head to
Yes.
the light, and you know where you go, and it curves like this.
Yeah.
Right? That's where you turn around to go around. Where is the barn in location to that? If you're heading down that road.
Right, and then you hit the 90.
Yeah, where's the barn in relation to that?
There's a white old house on your left when you turn down, and you're like white fence and stuff. There's a white old school house on your left that's like a farmhouse.
Is this before or after the turn?
It is way before.
Way
it is
before the turn?
real. I mean, it's not real close, but it's like the first thing you'll get
So
to
the barn
once you
is
turn
closer
onto
to
it.
73 than it is the turn?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was always under the assumption that it was after you took that 90-degree turn, the barn
No.
was that direction.
Yeah, no, you never even get to that 90. We never even went down there. Like that was too far.
Okay.
And then I don't know if you guys ever heard of Bucket Man.
No.
I don't know what Bucket Man was. I think people just made that up to make it scarier because it was supposed to be like this old black slave, and he had a bucket. But while you're all focused this way, waiting for the light, the Bucket Man would sneak up behind you and get you. But I think it was totally bullshit. But he might have been a little scarier though, because you're just all like in the dark in the middle of nowhere. It's quiet, and you just keep looking behind you like, Bucket Man. Like,
Bucket Man's out.
right? Yeah, I think that was made up. I don't think that's real.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was spooky. Yeah, see if anybody knows about Bucket Man.
Right.
Because
That's true. We ask about that.
yeah, like, is that real? I don't know anything about that. But then the crazy part was later, I didn't know that the barn got knocked down. So, I mean, it was probably 7 years later. And then I was hanging out with people. We're in our 20s now, early 20s, and hanging out with some people, and they had never seen the light. And we're all drinking. And we're like, we're going to the light. You've never seen it? Like, you will see it. And my buddy's like, I've never seen a ghost. It's bullshit. And I'm like, no, the light. And then my other buddy knew. He'd been there many times with us. So we jump up. We're like, we're going to the light right now. So we all jump in the car. And we start going down there. And they knocked the barn down. Or before that, we researched it on the internet. Which is, the internet was still kind of new. But, so we're like searching it. And that was where I saw the taillight story that you would see a red taillight sometimes, but I never knew that all my life. That was the only, so I was like, the taillight story's in here. But, their story was a little weird compared to the one that I knew. But yeah, and then we went out there and we drove down and they had knocked the barn down and we didn't know. And we like yelled at the area that it was in and then we turned around, but it was real foggy that night. And we like went down to the spot, we always turned around, flashed our lights. And we never seen anything, and I didn't know if it still worked now or if they knocked that barn down. Then the crazy part is they built this big $1 million mansion. There's like a mansion there. If you ever get to go down, there's like a big ass nice house on the right. That's where the barn was. So I don't know if there's a motorcycle driving around those people's house on the inside. Like, is there a crazy motorcyclist in the
Like a
basement?
residual spirit of
Right?
motorcycle.
Like, if that's his spot and you have, you're on tainted land there, I don't know.
Right.
So I always wanted to knock on their door and be like,
Something to check
Right,
into.
right, to be like, you guys got any weird shit happening in your house?
I'm digging the bucket man thing.
The bucket man's creepy, dude.
Because like
Yeah.
you said, you're sitting there looking, all of a sudden you're still looking for bucket.
Yeah, like something's coming up behind you. Yeah, I was like, whoever made this up is a genius. Or, holy shit, there's a bucket man.